Yo guys, Paunchy here, and today we're gonna make a pad with the Analog Four Mark II. Let's go. Alright, so I'm gonna try and make this one short and sweet. So the first thing we want to do, go ahead. I created a new kit. You're gonna want to hit T1 and hit clear. Boom. Clear track 1 sound. All right, so now you have your basic sound. Okay, and now, so the way we're going to make a pad, we're going to utilize the sub oscillator. So let's go to oscillator 1. Right now, we don't have any sub oscillator going. So go to the sub oscillator. We're gonna make use of the fifth. The fact that the sub oscillator on its own can make a fifth below the note that you're playing. So see, when you hear that, you can hear that there's two notes playing. The advantage to doing this is that you can do all this on one oscillator, leaving your second oscillator free to do some other cool stuff. So now maybe we'll take our filter and we'll we don't want a ton of that high end. And just as an aside, like for any of these videos that I do, if you've seen any of my other videos, you never have to memorize like actual numbers. Like the filter is at 75.98. You don't have to memorize that exact number. Do it to taste. Do it to how you think it sounds good. Which is another way of saying trust your ears. Use your ears. So let's see. A little bit of resonance. Okay, so the cool thing about the Analog Four, of course, is that it has two oscillators. So on the oscillator 1, again, we have the sub oscillator going. Oscillator 2, let's take this and do it. Let's tune it. Oh, first off, you got to turn the level up on the oscillator, of course. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and tune oscillator 2 down an octave. So if you think about it, what you have here is you have oscillator 1, doing whatever note you press. And then on oscillator 1, you have the sub oscillator doing a fifth down. And then with oscillator 2, you have that oscillator doing an octave down. So if you think about it, you have what is essentially called a power chord. Those of you that play guitar are definitely familiar with power chords, right? So, okay, so now the pad is mostly set up. Okay, so now the thing that really makes it a pad, let's go over to the amp section here, and we're going to want to add a little bit of attack. So what that effectively does is it gives it more of that fade in kind of sound, so it's not so abrupt. Because the whole thing about a pad, of course, is that it's a lot smoother. So let's see, the sustain is kind of weird here. There we go. Give it a little bit of release. Well, let's go ahead, let's see. You know, of course, you'll just want to play around with the release and the attack to where you have it sounding how you want. Give it more attack. Go ahead and put the shape. This will help a little bit. Put the shape around like 3. Okay, now we're pretty much there. But the biggest thing we need to do now is we're going to add a little bit of chorus, delay, and reverb. Let's start with the reverb. Okay, add a little bit of delay. Little bit of chorus. As you can hear, the chorus really like expands the sound there. So and finally, let's head over to the let's see here. If you want, you can add a little bit of pulse width modulation. To do that, you have to turn up your pulse width here, maybe like 7 or 8, and then turn up the depth of the pulse width modulation. Yo, so one thing I forgot to mention when I was recording the video, instead of adding pulse width modulation, what you could actually do is add vibrato to this. Now, the way you get into that is you go into the oscillator 1 menu here. Oscillator 2. Oscillator 2 has a vibrato setting, and the way to get to that is you press it twice. As you can see, it has 2 pages. If you're new to the Analog Four, maybe you didn't know that. But so you go ahead and go to the second page. Now right here you have vibrato, and then you have speed, and then you actually have a fade for the vibrato. Now in some cases I would normally fade out the vibrato. So essentially the vibrato would start, doing its thing and then slowly just kind of taper off. Or you can do it the opposite, to where there's no vibrato at first, and then as the sound stays, it does vibrato towards the end. Sorry, I know that was confusing, but you can kind of see it here with this little illustration thing they have here. But so I'm not going to touch the fade for this one. For this one, I just want a little bit of vibrato. Normally it's at 0, so change the depth to like... So if you turn it up, you can really start to hear it. Sometimes it's good to hear what it sounds like when there's too much of it, so that way you know exactly how much you want to like dial it back. So I would just give it a little bit of vibrato. And I actually also reduced the speed here to 24. Normally the speed is at 32. But I changed it to 24 because I like it a little more subtle. But anyway, that's just a little bit of an aside there for you. I think it's a great thing to use the vibrato with your pad, but you don't have to. It's totally up to you. So if you want, you can mess with your filter a little bit. could even do a low pass filter, or sorry, a high pass filter. Take out all that low end, and you're kind of left with like more of that, for lack of a better word, like that telephony kind of sound, you know. And of course, always remember, I hope it goes without saying, but you know, if you want it a bit higher, go ahead and change the octave. But yeah, I mean, that's my favorite simple pad method. You know, I guess it's not quite the simplest thing ever, but you know, I love the way this sounds for sure. But anyway, that'll do it for today, and thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for watching, and feel free to leave a like if you like this video. Leave a comment if you have any questions, and please hit the subscribe button if you really like this video, and that way you'll get more of these, and hit the bell in order to be notified when I'm releasing a video. I release videos every week, and I'll see you guys next time.